Welcome to Juneteenth. Let's see here. Let me see where we are here. Let's do this. All right. There we go. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? As people come in and join in, myself situated right here. Stay out here on the outside. So, welcome, everybody. Welcome to Black History Minute. Let's fix this up right quick. All right. So, yeah, today is the official Juneteenth day. And there's been a lot of talk, a lot going on in regards to Juneteenth. Um, as a matter of fact, there's been a lot of people who we kind of say being a little bit disrespectful in regards to whenever Juneteenth comes around. All right. So it's been given a national holiday. All right. And there's a lot of people that are able to be off who actually don't respect the people who this Juneteenth is about, right? Or Juneteenth was for. So we're gonna get into some things here today. Make sure I find out what's going on with the phone. All right, all right. So y'all just bear with me for a second. Appreciate y'all for coming in, by the way. Yeah, we're gonna get into this real detailed and nice if we can. There was one thing when I was getting this stuff prepared, I don't see it on the screen when I pulled it up now, because it definitely would have gave you a different way of looking at some things. But nonetheless, we are still going to get into this Juneteenth day. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up and find it so it'll be ready. But yeah, June 19th. Yeah, we'll get to that here in a sec. All right. So yeah, there's been a lot of people being real disrespectful when it comes to Juneteenth. And you're gonna set the record straight. And all my black American people have been already setting the record straight. We just gonna keep the record going. All right. We're gonna keep it going. And so with no further ado, we're gonna get into it, man. This is Black History Minute. We're gonna talk about the foundational Black American history behind the flags. All right. So let's go.
And now, here's your Black History Minute.
All right. So the Juneteenth flag, the American flag, and the Black Heritage flag. All right. As these insects come out here to bug me, but we're gonna still get this in. All right. So let's take a look about the history behind and talk about a little bit behind the American flag. We're gonna say, but they all pertain to Black Americans. We're gonna say the best for last since it's Juneteenth. So we're gonna get into the American flag here. All right. Okay. So when it comes to the American flag, right? When it comes to the American flag, all right, the national flag of the United States, often referred to as the American flag or the U.S. flag, consists of 13 equal horizontal stripes of red, top and bottom, alternating with white with a blue rectangle, in the canton, referred to as the Union, and bearing 50 small white five-pointed stars arranged in 9 offset horizontal rows, where rows of 6 stars, top and bottom alternate with rows, and 5 stars. All right, the 50 stars on the flag represent the 50 U.S. states, and the 13 stripes represent the 13 British colonies that declared independence from Great Britain, which they went on to secure by their victory in the American Revolutionary War. All right, we're gonna get down to the little bit of history real quick. And we're gonna tie in how this all connects with Black Americans. All right, so the current design of the U.S. flag is the 27th. The design of the flag has been modified officially 26 times since 1777. The 48 star flag was in effect for 47 years until the 49th star version became official on July 4, 1959. The 50 star flag was ordered by then President Eisenhower on August 21st, 1959, and was adopted in July 1960. It is the longest used version of the U.S. flag and has been in use for over 63 years. So now let's get into a little bit about the first flag, which is the resembling the modern stars and stripes, was an unofficial flag, sometimes called the Grand Union flag or the Continental colors. It consisted of 13 red and white stripes with the Union Jack in the upper left-hand corner. It first appeared on December 3rd, 1775, when Continental Navy Lieutenant John Paul Jones flew it aboard Captain Esek Hopkins' flagship Alfred in the Delaware River. It remained the national flag till June 1777, that is. At the time of the Declaration of Independence in July 1776, there were no flags with any stars on them. The Second Continental Congress did not adopt flags with stars while in the blue field for another year. The Grand Union flag has historically been referred to as the first national flag of the United States. All right. When you guys go down to go on Wikipedia, you will see what I'm reading, and you guys should see on the screen as I'm scrolling down. Maybe they're offset looking. The flag, you get the flag of the East India Company, Grand Union flag. All right. But what you don't get told, and what you're not told, is the connection regarding how this links with Black Americans, right? How this links with Black Americans. And some of you know this already, some of you don't. There was 2 Black women, one by the name of Grace Wisher, and the other one was an unknown Black woman. For whatever reason, they didn't document her involvement, her name, but apparently there was another Black woman involved in putting together the American flag. All right. And so, with that being said, we're going to drop a little something on you right quick. All right. Before we move on. Okay. So with that being said, let's find out what's going on about the American flag in regards to Grace Wisher. All right. Let's check it out.
Was the daughter of a mother who was too poor to support her children. So Grace was placed in an apprenticeship with Mary Pickersgill at the age of 10. In return for teaching Grace a trade, Pickersgill gained a servant, aka a slave, for 6 years. Mary Pickersgill became famous for having made the American flag, but did she actually make the flag herself, or did she get help? The United States and Britain had a beef going on where Britain eventually declared war on the U.S. The U.S. Army commander at that time, George Armistead, wanted to send a strong message that America was going to defend its harbors, and one way to do it was by putting up an oversized American flag. George contacted Pickersgill to create a flag that measured 30 by 42 feet with 15 stars and 15 stripes, each stripe representing a state. It was a large flag and George wanted it ASAP. With the instructions that Pickersgill was given for the flag, she recruited some help. One of those helpers was Grace Wisher, and another unknown foundational Black American woman. At the age of 13, Grace began putting together what is known as the U.S. American flag. Mary Pickersgill has been given the praises of creating the U.S. flag, but if it wasn't for Grace and the unknown foundational Black American woman, the flag would have never been created. Black History Minute recognizes Grace Wisher along with the unknown foundational Black American woman who helped put together the United States American flag.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to the American flag, we definitely had an involvement in it that does not get told probably little to none. All right. So this is one of our connections with the American flag. On top of, you had some Black soldiers fighting in wars in regards to this flag. So we definitely have a straight connection to be able to claim the flag as a Black American flag as well. All right. There was a lot of stuff, a lot of dirty stuff behind it as well. But at the same time, as you're seeing in the video pictures right now, we had a serious connection with the flag. All right. Including those who actually put the flag together, being Grace Wisher and this unknown foundational Black American woman. All right. So be sure to share these videos out. Let your kids know. Share this with your families. Might be something that some folks don't know. All right. So they'll be well informed in regards to that. All right. So let's move on. All right. And we're going to get into the Black Heritage flag. All right. Let's get into that real quick. The Black Heritage flag. Yes, indeed. We're going to get into the history of this right here. All right. Let's pull this up real quick. Let's get into it. Black American Heritage flag. All right. Appreciate y'all for coming in, by the way. Feel free to comment. We are live on this Juneteenth commemoration / celebration. Thankful for the slaves to be free. All right. There's a lot of history behind that as well. And so let's get into it. The Black American Heritage flag, also known as the African American Heritage flag, is an ethnic flag that represents the culture and history of foundational Black Americans. All right. Each color and symbol on the flag has a significant meaning that was developed to instill pride in Black Americans. All right. And provide them with a symbol of hope for the future in the midst of their struggle in regards to civil rights. All right. Let's talk about the design real quick. The late Melvin Charles, and we're going to get into a video where you guys going to hear from Melvin Charles himself speaking about this. All right. So the late Melvin Charles described the fascinating story behind the design of the Black American Heritage flag and the historic event when it was raised at City Hall. Okay. We came up with this idea to make a flag that had diagonal stripes of red and black, he explained, and to have a fig wreath circled in the center of it, and a blunted sword. Of course, we had to recognize that each item we had to have some sort of explanation. All right, so let's get into that. The gold-colored blunted sword represent the feeling of having pride and also knowing when you have a blunted sword. When you blunt it, you learn to curdling the earth. He continued. The wreath, which we also had in the color gold, symbolized peace, prosperity, and everlasting life. Red was chosen to represent the rich blood we shed for freedom, justice, and human dignity, and the color black was for the pride in our pigmentation. Okay? And so if you ever decide you want to use Canva or some other type of graphic design platform, you got the little hex colors or the RGB or the CMYK, so you can get the actual color schemes correct. All right. Get the color schemes correct. And so let's move on, man. There is also a popular alternative variation of the Black American Heritage flag, and excuse me, that possesses the same ideas and symbolism as the original design of the heritage flag that Melvin Charles and Gleason Jackson set in place. The difference between the original version of the flag and the newer design is that it's more cartoonish, which I don't like myself, to be honest with you. I like the flag as you guys see it here on the screen. You don't need to, that looks kind of a little better than a more cartoonish look, but there is a cartoonish looking flag, my own personal preference, and has a brighter set of colors. It is unclear from where the unauthorized, get it, unauthorized heritage flag design revision originated. So even looking at that right quick, they can't verify who came up with this more cartoonish look of the flag. And so it just looks like, or seems like, another way to sabotage our heritage, okay, and the disrespect towards Black Americans. All right, so that's just something to keep in mind, because I want to talk about something a little bit in regards to you Pan-Africanists. All right, so trying to sabotage, okay, so yeah. Again, let me see here. There is also a popular alternative variation of the Black American Heritage flag that possesses the same ideas and symbolisms as the original design of the heritage flag that Melvin Charles, keep these names in mind, Melvin Charles and Gleason Jackson set in place. These were the creators of the Black American Heritage flag, Melvin Charles and Gleason Jackson. The difference between the original version of the flag and the newer design is that it's more cartoonish and has a brighter set of colors. It is not clear from where the unauthorized heritage flag design revision originated. However, it has somehow cemented itself as a viable alternative for the original, which we're not going to allow that to go down. All right, we're going to always go with the original instead of the alternative cartoon look. And authorized heritage flag design. On September 12, 2023, countering the newer design of the heritage flag, Melvin Charles's daughter, shout out to her, has showed discontent with the new design on an Instagram post. Caption, please be mindful when you purchase Black American Heritage flag products in this grab and go culture. many have not honored the original design. Followed by the images of original design of the heritage flag titled Original Design, and the new design of the flag titled Not the Original. All right. So we're going to leave that right there. Shout out again to Melvin Charles's daughter for checking folks who was trying to co-opt and show disrespect towards that flag. All right. Shout out to her. Shout out to that sister. All right. And so, yeah, with that being said, we're going to get into a video that you guys definitely will want to watch. All right. This is of Melvin Charles breaking down the Black American heritage flag. All right. So let's take a look.
Charles and Gleason T. Jackson designed a symbol to represent the history, pride, and accomplishments of African Americans in response to the struggles of 1960s America. Charles tells his story about the creation of the Black American heritage flag.
I think one of the interesting points about the creation of the flag in the mind is that it was in both our minds for a long time. Even as a child at 3 years old, I would go and sit on the curb in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and watch the parade go by. I see the American flag, and I see the flag that represents Italian, Spanish, whatever it might be. And they would march up and down the street, honoring the 30th of May. And then when it came time for the Negro, at that time we were called, I remember every year we would march down. And guess what? All we had was the American flag. And I went home to my mother, and I remember asking her, and I think I couldn't have been no more than 5 or 6 at that point. I said, Mommy, why don't we have a flag? But every once in a while, it would creep into my mind. Until one day, when this woman by the name of Gleason T. Jackson, a neighbor of mine, sat down with me and started talking about the idea of something we could do in the 60s about trying to make progress for our race of people. And then he mentioned the word of a flag. I said, if you're willing to try, I'm willing to be there with you. I have great thoughts about it. I think it will take some time, but I want to design a flag. And that's when we started. The next process was for us to be able to get together, to sit down and talk about what we wanted to put in the flag. But after about 2.5 weeks, we came up with this idea to make a flag that had diagonal stripes of red and black, and to have a fig leaf circled in the center of it, and a blunted sword. And of course, we had to recognize that each item, we had to have some sort of explanation. And then when we looked at the blunted sword, we thought of the feeling of having pride, and also knowing that when you have a blunted sword, when you blunt it, you learn to curdle the earth. And then we thought about the wreath, which we also had in the color gold, that would be for peace, prosperity, and everlasting life. And the red would be for the rich blood we've shed for freedom, justice, and human dignity. And the color black was for the pride in our pigmentation. The inspiration basically came from us sitting down, not only sitting down and talking about it, but I would go to the library, he would go to the library. We'd both go. And we sat down and looked at all the different items there's a thought pattern that we put into it. I mean, I think about, it was a piece of the musician in me. There's a piece of the businessman that was in me, and there was a piece of the child that's still in me. That I could stand there and wave the flag. Well, the first thing we did with it was, our thoughts were, we have to let the community know about it. And of course, Gleason and I decided one day that we would go down to City Hall to make this happen. That we would be able to unfurl the Black American Heritage flag. Well, of course, when we laid this plan out to the mayor at that time, he was absolutely, unbelievably stunned that we would come with a thought like that. And of course, we had the thought of saying, we can make this happen. That was in our hearts. There was some opposition to it. But the fact of the matter is, we had come up with a final decision that the flag would be put up on March 5th at City Hall in Newark, New Jersey. Wow, what a wonderful moment to see something like this actually happen. And as we got closer to City Hall, on a flagpole standing outside, on a high flagpole, we saw the Negro flag being unfurled. What a wonderful moment for Gleason T. Jackson and Melvin Charles. I felt like I had won the Super Bowl. I really thought that way. I saw this happening. And I was very proud of it. And I'm proud of it every time I see it unfurl. I'm proud of it every time I speak about it. I'm proud to be here at this very moment of my life to speak to you about it.
Melvin Charles died on March 15, 2017, at the age of 79. We honor his legacy as the creator of the Black American Heritage Flag and author of the book, The Rallying Point, which chronicles his story of the flag's creation.
Salute to that brother, Melvin Charles. Shout out to Melvin Charles's daughter for checking anybody who comes up showing disrespect, trying to use the cartoonish version of the Black American Heritage Flag. All right, so it doesn't say what her name is. I didn't get that at all. Let me see. It doesn't say her name, but it does. And I did read in other publications as well that Melvin Charles's daughter has been going around, and whenever she can, she's making sure she's checking people on watching as far as using the original design of the Black American Heritage Flag and not the cartoonish version of it. All right. So shout out to that sister. Shout out to that brother. Rest in peace, Melvin Charles and Gleason Jackson. All right. So with that being said, we're going to get to the grand finale. All right. The grand finale. The Juneteenth flag, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. There it is. And let's get into a little details in regards to that. All right. Let's see what we got here before we get into the creator of this flag as well. So y'all stay tuned and don't go nowhere. We're going to break down a little bit about the Juneteenth, and we're going to have the actual creator of the Juneteenth flag, Ben Haith. All right. And so let's get this pulled up real quick. Yes, indeed. Righty, there we go. There we go. So yeah, let's pull this up real quick here. Let's move some of these things out. The Juneteenth flag, as today we commemorate, celebrate Juneteenth. Let's get into it. All right. So The Juneteenth flag is a symbol for the Juneteenth holiday in the United States. This first version was created in 1997 by activist Ben Haith, and that early version was displayed in 97. The present version was first flown in 2000. The colors and symbols on the flag are representative of freedom and the end of slavery. And this is regards to Galveston, which we'll look into right quick. The date on the flag represents that of General Order Number 3, issued in Galveston, Texas in 1865. Beginning in 2020, many states began recognizing Juneteenth by flying the flag over their state capitol buildings, especially after Juneteenth was declared a federal holiday by some of y'all presidents, Jim Crow Joe Biden, right? Let's take a look in the design and the symbolism of it all, okay? So the Juneteenth flag was designed by activist Ben Haith, also known as Boston Ben, right? Boston Ben Haith displayed the first version of the Juneteenth flag in June 1997 at Boston's John Elliott Square district. It was described by Patricia Smith of the Boston Globe as a banner adorned with sunburst and flaming candles. The present design was completed and copyrighted by Haith himself in 2000. Haith is also the founder of the National Juneteenth Celebration. Lisa Jean Graff claims on her website that she was another contributor. I don't know anything about that. If you guys have any information about that, she's putting herself as a contributor. I don't know what her nationality is. The name doesn't sound American. The last name, anyway, does not sound Black American. So it might be one of those things again where it's possible that another group, whether from the Caribbeans or the continent Africa, might be trying to claim something that a Black American put into place. All right. So if you have any information on it, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to comment, and we'll post it up here live as we go into the Juneteenth flag. All right. So she is saying that she was another contributor to the design. She states that she fine-tuned the design of the flag for the National Juneteenth Celebration Foundation. The flag uses the colors of red, white, and blue from the American flag. All right. That'll be another connection right there in itself. Featured prominently in the center of the flag is a bursting star. Running through the center of the flag horizontally is an arc that is meant to symbolize the new horizon of opportunity for Black American people. According to the president of the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, Steve Williams, the star is a bursting star of freedom. Williams also states that the arc representing the horizon shows blue above and red color, and the red color below is symbolic of the ground soaked with blood, the blood which was shed of the Black Americans enslaved by the United States. The red, white, and blue colors were meant to convey the message that all enslaved people and their descendants are American. I'm going to say that one again. I want to make sure we get this one straight. All right. I'm going to say this one again. Let's make it clear. Let's make it plain. All right. Let's make it plain. The red, white, and blue colors were meant to convey the message that all enslaved people, all right, not only in Galveston, but all enslaved people and their descendants of those enslaved, we are the descendants of Black American chattel slavery. All right. So it was meant to convey the message that all enslaved people and their descendants are indeed Black American or American, Black American. All right. In 2007, the date June 19, 1865 was added. All right. That was added to the flag in 2007. All right. Let's give it a little bit more, then we're going to check out these videos. So the symbolism, we're going to talk about the symbolism here real quick. All right. Let's discuss that. The 5-pointed star refers both to Texas, also known as the Lone Star State, and to the freedom of Black Americans in all 50 states. Surrounding it is a nova, a new star, representing a new beginning for all. And may I add, before I go on, that new beginning will be the beginning when we get our reparations. All right. Once that reparations comes into play on the flag, the new beginning, that's the new beginning. All right. When it comes to that flag, the Nova Star representing new beginning. Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation of January 1, 1863, I'm sorry, declared that all slaves in the rebel Confederate states were free. The state of Texas rejoined the Union with the end of the Civil War on April 9, 1865. On June 19th of 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived at the port of Galveston, Texas, and announced that slavery had been ended with General Order Number 3. The Juneteenth flag has the date of June 19, 1865 displayed on it. 1 year later, freed slaves in Texas celebrated the first Juneteenth on June 19th, and it was called Jubilee Day. All right. So with that being said, we're going to get into a set of videos. We're going to save the best video for last. All right. So let's check out a breakdown of Juneteenth. All right. So let's check it out.
January 1st, 1863. The date, President Abraham Lincoln with one proclamation, orders and declares that all persons held as slaves shall be free. But what that same history book might fail to mention is what happened to these words once they arrived on the shores of Galveston, Texas, more than 2 years after Lincoln wrote them. After all, in the 1860s, word didn't travel like it does now. In 1865, months after General Robert E. Lee's surrender, word from slave owners of the Emancipation Proclamation, issued 2 years earlier, was widely withheld from the 250,000 slaves in the southern state. And then came General Gordon Granger's arrival in Galveston, June 19, 1865, and General Orders Number 3. All slaves are free. Juneteenth was born. While Juneteenth celebrations continued to varying degrees in the U.S. for decades, it would take until 1980 for Texas to become the first state to declare it a holiday. Since then, many others joined in, and just yesterday, President Biden signed a law making Juneteenth a federal holiday. A chapter of our history, far too long left out of the books designed to document it, but no longer. Juneteenth, or as the National Museum of African American History and Culture now calls it, our country's second Independence Day.
The Juneteenth flag commemorates the day slavery ended in the U.S. The red, white, and blue banner with a bursting star in the middle is full of symbols, according to the flag's creator, activist Ben Haith, also founder of the National Juneteenth Celebration Foundation. So let's start with the colors, of course, representing the American flag and a reminder that slaves and their descendants were and are Americans. And this curve across the width of the flag represents a new horizon, the opportunities and promise that lay ahead for Black Americans after freedom. The white star in the center of the flag actually has a dual meaning, representing Texas, the Lone Star State. It was in Galveston in 1865 where Union soldiers informed the country's last remaining slaves that the Civil War was over and they were free. Haight says the star also goes beyond Texas, representing the freedom of African Americans in all 50 states. And the bursting outline around the star is inspired by a nova or new star. That's according to astronomy. This represents a new beginning for all African Americans.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, without no further ado, we're gonna hear from the creator of the Juneteenth flag himself, Mr. Ben Haight. Let's check it out.
Juneteenth flag flying today above buildings from coast to coast. It was actually designed right here in Boston. And the flag's become an important symbol of America's newest holiday.
The man who created that design returned to Boston today.
Right in the heart of Roxbury, a ceremony to match the soul of this day. And one man was at the center of the celebrations.
Well, I'm trying to take it all in. It's like walking back in time.
Juneteenth is as much of a part of Ben Haight as Ben Haight is to Juneteenth. The 80-year-old lives in Connecticut, but spent more than 30 years here in Boston. He was as involved as any during the civil rights movement.
That's the reason I'm here.
Monday was a homecoming of sorts. He was a guest of honor at this Juneteenth ceremony. The reason why, in almost everyone's hand.
It would be good if we could have a symbol for Juneteenth to be recognized, and I went about trying to pull a design together.
Back in 1997, Haight decided it was about time to make it a reality. He put an ad in the paper and got a call from local graphic designer Lisa Jean Graff, the two working together to create this.
I couldn't believe how well she did it in such a short period of time, Brandon. And I even watched it when it was being raised up on the flagpole. I said, this works.
The design is intentional, a star to represent the Lone Star State of Texas, where the last enslaved people were freed, with a new rising star, all set in red, white, and blue.
Our ancestors were a part of this country, even though many of them were in captivity. And a lot of people have become to understand that, particularly young people.
This Juneteenth hath raised this flag back in the place where it all began. Generations gathered here to mark the contributions of Black Americans and write the history often left off the pages. In Boston.
All right, so first off, I want to say this, that I stand corrected. I did read that Miss Graff also was involved in the making of this flag, and Ben Haight himself acknowledges that she was a part of helping with the design. So I want to say salute to her as well, right? Miss Graff and Ben Haight. And so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The flags involving Black Americans, and incidentally, just thinking about it, all three of the flags all use the color red in it. The connection with all the flags of red. All right, and I think they all, I know, if I'm not mistaken, all of them have the same meaning regarding bloodshed. All right, if I'm not mistaken here. All right, let me see real quick. They all, I know the Black American Heritage flag and the Juneteenth flag both use the color red in regards to that point of the blood being shed. All right, see something real quick here. And so, you know, before we get out of here, I want to say this as well. It's time for all you Pan-Africanists and any Caribbeans, anybody else from the African continent, any blacks that are not foundational Black Americans in the UK, and anybody else globally, stop disrespecting Juneteenth and making it a holiday of all these other colors. Start showing your respect. Another thing I had in mind was that to kind of bring things home is when you guys have all these different parades, whether it's the LGBT parade, whether it's the Jamaican parade or Mardi or something they do, other Caribbean parades you have, no Black Americans come and interfere with that. The Puerto Rican flag parade, nobody, Black Americans don't interfere with that. So we're saying right now, don't interfere with our stuff as well. All right? Don't interfere with the Juneteenth. Don't interfere with the Black American heritage flag, and don't intervene with the USA American flag. As we already showed you, Grace Wisher and another unknown Black American woman had a lot to do with putting that flag together. And as always, when it came to slavery, it was really the slaves, the Black Americans, that put everything together, and the other folks tried to claim that they did it, right? So again, we're not going to tolerate any more disrespect towards any of these flags, all right? None whatsoever. And we're going to make it known every time we see a Pan-African red, black, and green. Has nothing to do with Black Americans at all, right? None whatsoever. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all, man. Be sure to check us out, Black History Minute. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I believe we're on Twitch. If not, we'll be on Twitch. Fan base will be on. Maybe looking into social as well. Try to get that done. There you go. I hear you. FBA flag as well. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The FBA flag as well. I don't have it here. I was focusing on Juneteenth and these flags here, but yes, indeed, the FBA flag, most definitely. So that makes 4. All right. Definitely not going to forget that. Shout out to you. D from New York City. What part of New York you from? I grew up in the Bronx, but I'm now down in the dirty South. All right. I'm down in the South now, but I grew up in the Bronx. Shout out to you, man. Again, most definitely, FBA flag can be added to this as well. All right. So we appreciate y'all. Let's see, it looks like you added something else from Brooklyn. All right, shout out to you. Brooklyn in the house. All right. BX in the building. All right. Appreciate y'all, man. So with that being said, again, this is Black History Minute. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Fanbase. Let's see if we can get some things popping on social. DJ, what's up? I hope you hear me. All right. So yeah, be sure to check us out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got over 1,000 subscribers on Black History Minute on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe there. Subscribe on Twitter X, Facebook, our Facebook page. Again, Twitch, fan base. I think we're going to try to get it on the Spotify podcast and maybe a few others. You know, we'll announce when those times come, all right? Again, I appreciate it. Hope this was educating to some and then a refresher to others. All right. As we get out of here, man, be staying tuned. Let's see, we're June now. August 5th. We're gonna be back on. I'm gonna be back on live again. Maybe in July too. I try to go live once a month here at Black History Minute. The rest you're just gonna see Black History. You know, got a whole host of Black History videos coming, so y'all be checking those out pretty soon. Right? Getting those together, so definitely be checking it out. But I try to go live at least once a month in between all the videos you guys are gonna start seeing pretty soon. All right, and I definitely have something for August 5th. Some of you guys might already know what that date is, what happened on August 5th. All right, and we might come back again in next month. All right, so we appreciate y'all, man, and yeah, we're gonna get on out of here. Thank you for coming in. This is Black History Minute. I'm out. Peace.
And now, here's your Black History Minute.